Growing up, I was totally goody two-shoes, I guess you could say. Real innocent. In the house, we didn't talk about sex. It was just kind of awkward, so it was off limits, right? And back then, let me mind you, we didn't have iPhones. Yeah, sex and pornography, all these things weren't as easily as accessible as they are today, right now. I mean, literally, a 12, 13-year-old boy can hop on his phone right now and see more naked women than a king did in his entire life. So not having these things just readily available in my hands back when I was young. Once I entered into middle school, I started seeing and kind of hearing different things here and there. Things that just caught me totally off guard. I started hearing all these conversations about sex and how this kid did it with this kid and she did what to him, and it was all just like super foreign to me. It was strange. And because my parents just kept me so sheltered and they kept me usually just focused on sports, I mean, I would hear these things, but I wouldn't really care. At that time, all I cared about was recess, shooting hoops, playing with my friends. But the second I hit high school, bro, those urges, you know what I'm talking about, those urges started coming on. And not like right now in 2023, but like at that point, back in like 06 or whatever. Whenever I'm out in public, bro, like I can't even look at a girl without thinking some kind of lustful sexual thought. And so now I'm getting real curious. I think my mom had just bought me a Sony PSP, which was like, at that time, it was like the first handheld kind of device for PlayStation. And I remember I was so excited about this because this was the first time that you could ever like log on to the internet. And because my parents didn't have access to this sucker, I was like, yo, I can look at anything on here. And that right there, that was the moment where my whole prawn addiction began. And as a result, now I'm out in public and I can't even think straight. Every single woman that I come in contact with becomes some sexual fantasy thought. And now the sad reality of all this is that in today's day and age, this has become normal. Men have become so perverse, so disgusting. Everything revolves around sex. I mean, everything we view, everything on social media, all the movies we watch, you can't even watch a single TV show or movie without some really vulgar, perverted jokes thrown in there. Sex, lust, all these things have become pretty much like a god that people worship. I have a friend that works at this really high-end hotel where all these rich guys go to, and you should hear the stories, bro. She told me one time that her coworker, who's a dude, he actually had a rich guy come up to him that was staying at the hotel, and this rich guy paid him to have sex with his wife while he watched. I mean, how much more perverse and wicked does it get than that, bro? I don't know about you, bro, but if any other guy ever attempted something like that on my girl, you're done, son. But hey, check this out, my brother. This can happen to you, it can happen to me, it can happen to any one of us. Our minds, they can get to this state. You gotta be aware of this, bro. You can't lie to yourself. When you keep feeding your lust over and over and over, day in and day out, lust is never satisfied. So you may think to yourself, oh yeah, that's weird that guy would do that. But if you keep feeding it over the years, you can get to that state. I promise you. You could be doing unimaginable things that you once said you would never do. And that right there, that's what's happened here in today's world. Men have just continued to feed their lust over and over again. And now any fantasy that they have up in here, they're now on a mission to make that fantasy come true, no matter how sick and perverted it is, which is ultimately leading men to now do unspeakable, sick, evil things. I mean, look at sex trafficking. It's become a $50 billion industry. Men have allowed their lust to build and build and build to a point now where they're literally just stealing people off the streets to fulfill their sexual fantasies. 99% of men are so lust-driven that women are just complete sex objects. Children are now complete, I can't even say it, bro. It disgusts me that much. Lust has broken families apart. They've destroyed homes. Lust has sent men to prison for their entire lives. Almost all men are cheaters, I would say 9 out of 10. I know personally a handful. They don't even know that I know. We live in a small town here, so it's like everybody knows each other's crap. And the thing about all this is it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because I know it breaks God's. And now, as a result, women are more promiscuous than ever because, oh, that's what guys like, right? I just heard that story of the girl from Stranger Things who quit acting because she just did this new movie, and she said the producer literally came to her and asked her if she wanted to have a threesome with him and his chick. Like, come on, my guy. What are you doing? Chill the frick out. This angers me so much, bro. I wish I was like there so I could just knock this guy's lights out. But hey, I'm not gonna make this whole entire video to just point the finger at everyone. Even the best of us, it's hard not to be lust driven, especially in this day and age. You turn on the TV, you hop onto Instagram, there's a big old booty right there in your face. The temptation today, compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago and beyond, it's unmatchable, uncomparable. Everything is so readily available to you on just a silver platter. And check it out, at one point, we've all been prawn addicted. You may even still be prawn addicted, and it may be so bad that anytime you go out in public, public, you look at a woman and instantly you just think sexual thoughts. Instantly, you're thinking about in what ways you can use her to pleasure you. And you may even take action on that thought. You may have gotten to a point where you actually go out now and you go on a mission to fulfill that fantasy. And you do that with woman after woman after woman after woman. And if you haven't gotten to that state yet, hey, be aware, because it could be right around the corner. The first time you do it, it just gets easier and easier to do it. You just start looking at these women as just slabs of meat rather than a precious, valuable daughter of God. So hey, step number 1, the first thing you gotta do is acknowledge it. You gotta admit to yourself and to God that, hey, I'm lust driven, I'm addicted, I need help. God, can you please forgive me? And check it out. That right there, you gotta repent, bro. Repentance isn't just, God, please forgive me, but then you can still like live in all your sinful ways. You can immerse yourself into all your sexual fantasies, do what you want, but just do that quick little prayer here and there. So that way I get to go to heaven still. No, that's not true repentance. Repentance is asking for that forgiveness, but now going in a whole entire different direction, going towards God. Now, that's not to say that now you're just 100% perfect and you'll never mess up ever again. You're perfect. No, but your intent has completely changed. See, God doesn't look at your perfection, he looks at your intention. God knows your heart. He knows what you're about. So, hey, look, you gotta admit it. And if you got a girl, if you got a wife, you may even need to admit it to her. Check it out. I know you're probably thinking that's just completely wild. That's just bonkers. No, there's ain't no way I'm gonna do that, Dre. That's gonna cause World War III. But hey, so we'll talk about that on step number 5. We'll get there in a second, but hear me out. Like my dad always said, you cannot conquer what you don't confront. And you can't admit these things. You can't admit that you're a sinner. You can't admit that you got a problem, that you got an addiction until you stop lying. Stop lying to yourself, bro. Put it all out there on the table. Only then will you be able to conquer this thing. Number 2, stop blaming. Now it's so easy, bro, and I caught myself doing this last week, sitting here blaming all these women for what they're wearing. You see like these 18, 19-year-old girls walk in. The other day, it was raining. These girls walk into Starbucks where me and my wife is at. It's raining, bro, and they got on these like little tiny little short shorts. It's like, what are you doing? Where's your mom at? Just last week, I'm sitting here conversing with my wife, talking about why does the government even allow prawn to be legal? Why is it even just readily available in every single household? Something that's literally become more addictive than any other drug substance on the planet. Something that's literally destroying families, destroying young kids, destroying married couples, breaking families apart. How is this even like available? Why hasn't the government shut this down yet? And obviously, I probably can't say it here on camera, but obviously someone up here is making money off this. I get like very angry about this, bro. I get very frustrated. Even like I remember like 10, 15 years ago, there was a point where, and they still might be doing this, doctors would say, oh, watching prawn is actually healthy for you. You should actually watch it. Yeah. Says the doctor with a big old freaking gut out to here who's like eyeing your mom or something, looking down her like shirt or something. Like, come on, dude. What are you doing? What are you saying? It's crazy, bro. These freaking doctors saying this crap. I think they still say it. I watched this video. It's actually the video that inspired this one. It's by Artistic Motivation. And they said, Google it. Google it yourself. Look right now of type in how porn is healthy for you. And like you'll see a whole list of all the reasons why you should watch it. And it's just sad, bro, because I don't mean to keep on going on this rant, but I'll finish it up here. But men are literally getting arousal problems, like erection problems, because of watching too much prawn. It happened to me, dude. If you guys have read my story on the masculinemasterclass.com, if you haven't yet, I'll link it down below. You can click on it and just read it real quick. But dude, like it was literally damaging me and my own sex life with my wife. I was having trouble staying hard. It's so embarrassing to admit, but it's the truth, bro. And that's why I get like passionately angry about all this and I rant about this, because how is this stuff, how has it not been stopped yet? How is it not illegal? This just proves to you that our people up there can't really talk about it here because this will get shut down and canceled, but that just proves to you how evil everybody is, bro. And how the people running this state, running this world are just sick and perverted themselves. But hey, here I am doing what I'm just telling you not to do. Stop blaming, right? We can't be blaming the government. We can't be blaming girls for what they're wearing. We can't keep pointing the finger. We gotta point the finger here, if anything. We gotta stop being so lust driven. We gotta break these chains, bro. So hey, balls in your court. What are you gonna do? Step 3, delete the triggers. Anything that becomes a little trigger to you, that gets you all aroused, right? That makes you maybe start, I don't mean to be so vulgar here, but that makes you start touching on yourself and filling up on yourself, and then you end up in the bathroom all by yourself, freaking spilling your seed in the toilet. I know a lot of guys come up on here and say, well, I only watch softcore, so it's not officially prawn, so I'm okay. I'm not watching that bad of stuff. They literally think to themselves, oh, it's not real prawn, so I'm good. And it's like, no, bro, it doesn't matter. You're still feeding your lust. A bare booty is just as nice as a booty in a thong. They both look great. And when you keep doing this, when you keep staring at one or the other, it's constantly just training your mind. It's training your eyes to continue to stare. It's continuing to allow you to just now go out in public and just continue to look at real booties. And because you're so used to just staring at this screen, just mindlessly just viewing and swiping to the next one and the next one, and just staring and staring and staring, now you do the same thing in real life. You've trained your eyes to stare, and now you're just staring at every other young woman that walks by. Which leads me to number 4, bounce your eyes. You've spent all this time training your mind, training your eyes to stare. Now you gotta train your eyes to bounce. As a man, especially a lust-driven man, it's easy to sometimes just glance at a booty, right? You might do it all the time. You might even do it unconsciously. So you gotta start being a little bit more aware, and the second you do it, you gotta catch yourself and bounce. Bounce, right? Bounce off that booty. Be like, oh, that ain't mine. That ain't my booty. That's another man's. Oh, that ain't mine either. That's some dude's daughter. You can't just go on thinking to yourself, well, I'm just a young man. I'm horny, right? I'm 18, I'm 19 years old. I got a lot of testosterone running through my balls. So, I mean, it's just natural for me to just stare at butts. I know, bro, that's no excuse, my guy. That ain't yours. That booty ain't your property. See what happens when you just continue to allow yourself just year after year after year? What you think in your head, just, okay, well, by the time I'm like 35, I'll stop. You think you're just gonna stop? You think everything's just gonna turn off? No, bro, because you've come so accustomed to it. You've constantly trained your eyes and mind to stare, to lust, and to fantasize, and that just doesn't turn off easily overnight. You've done it so much constantly, unconsciously over the years that now you're not even aware that you do it. It's just a part of who you are, which is a point where you don't want to end up being at. Like, bro, I live in this community, this old community, and everywhere my wife and I go, you got all these old perverted farts freaking always just staring up and down at my wife. There'll even be guys, dude, where my wife is standing there, I look over at him, and he's legit just staring at her butt, like licking his lips and being all freaking weird, and then she'll look at him and he's still looking at her, and then he'll notice I'm looking at him, and then he'll look over at me, and we're just sitting there making eye contact, and I'm just like looking at him like this, like, what are you doing, bro? And then he'll turn back and just continue to stare at my wife. like bro, what? You're caught red-handed and you don't even care. But again, hey, look, I can't point the finger. Back when I first got married to Bree and I was heavily addicted to prawn, I used to do this right in front of Bree. I used to rubberneck girls as they walk by right in front of her, and she brought it to my attention, and I was awestruck. I was like, wait, I did that? I didn't even recognize I did it, bro. I wasn't even recognizing that I was checking out other girls walking by, because I had just done it so much throughout my whole life thus far that once I had a girl of my own, I still kept doing it unconsciously. And that's what happens right there when you don't tame your lust. Step 5, expose it. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, about maybe, thinking about exposing it to your girl, exposing it to your wife. Or if you don't decide to do that, you need to expose it to somebody. I know that's probably very hard to hear right now, especially for you young guys. Back when I was young, the thought of even doing that, telling anybody, was just like, bro, I can never. No way. People are going to judge me. People are going to look down on me. That might happen in the very, very beginning, but it actually is the opposite. And that's why I do it here to you guys, right? Me talking about this right here on camera, if I was to tell my younger 15-year-old self that I would be doing this right now, that guy would have thought I was absolutely crazy, absolutely nutty. He wouldn't even believe that I'm doing this right now on camera. But I figured out that the more I expose it, the more I tell people about it, especially my wife, bro. You think I'm gonna mess up now in the future? You think I'm gonna go out in public and just start drooling after other girls? No, like, now there's a level of accountability because I've exposed it. And check it out, this is the thing right here. This is why this is so powerful, because lust will always continue to grow as long as it stays in the shadows. And so that's why I kind of recommend telling your girl, telling your wife, as long as, if you truly know she'll be okay about it. Like, obviously she'll be hurt. Obviously she might be very pissed for a day or two, depending on your girl. But if you know she could get over it, then I would say tell her. Obviously, like, I don't mean to throw shade at any particular religious community or group of people, but I know there's I have friends that are Mormon, right? And they literally said if, that men in the church who have told their wives about their addictions or whatever, the wives literally divorce them. And that's just kind of wild to me, bro. That's so, that to me is evil, honestly. If you know your girl is going to divorce you or break up with you because you have a problem, I don't know, bro. I just have a little bit of different outlook on that. That's just me personally. Especially if you're married, bro. Like, you gotta work through that stuff. These types of women in these churches, bro, that are just so naive to these things, they gotta understand that all men deal with this, okay? And then a lot of these women that are in the churches, they're not even like giving it up. They're not even having sex with their husbands. And then they're expecting their husbands to never look at any other woman pervertedly or look at prawn or have any kind of addictions to these types of things. All I'm saying is to expose it, and maybe to expose it to your girl if you think that she is capable of taking that information in and then helping you out with your addiction, with your lust. If not, then hey, go to a brother, go to a parent, go to somebody that can keep you in check. And the last one, number 6, lean into God's grace. It's as simple as that. No matter how hard you try to walk that righteous path, you're gonna have times where you fall short. It just is what it is. You're human, I'm human. There's a lot of beautiful, attractive women, especially in this day and age, bro. You compare the women from like 10 years ago even to today. There's drastically a big difference, especially with all the cosmetic stuff going on and what the girls can do with their bodies. And so, hey, temptation is at an all-time high, but then again, that is no excuse, my brother. I mean, God knows the temptation that you deal with, but there is no excuse. He still expects you to not be perfect, but to progress. And so on that route of you trying to progress, on that route of you trying to be the best man that you can possibly be, no matter how much you try to fight that war every single day, of course you're gonna have times where you fall short. But then again, tying back around here to what I was saying earlier, it's your intent. God knows your heart. God knows if you are truly down for him. Hey, check this out really quick. In between takes, your boy gets bit by a freaking bug. I feel like that's the enemy trying to come in right now and just mess up my flow. Like, I legit was about to just turn all this off right now. I was actually gonna, like, just being honest with you guys, I was gonna go grab like some of my wife's makeup and stuff and try to apply it so I can look all pretty again, but no, bro, screw it. And this freaking sucker itches too. Let's just carry on. We're not gonna stop this. Let's go. We ain't gonna be defeated today. So anyways, hey, check it out. This right here, this is why David in the Bible, bro, this is why, even though he dealt with so much sin and so much lust, God still said, what did he say about him? He said, David is a man after my own heart. Simple as that. God knew his heart. God knew how much he was trying. And despite all his sin, God still loved him, bro. And that right there, bro, that's why I tell you, lean into God, lean into that love. And the more you do that, the more you're just gonna wanna do better. So hey, appreciate you, my brother. Please give this video a nice big thumbs up. Hit the notifications button to be informed when I drop a new video. And check out this one right here. It's a powerful one. Catch you on the next vid. Peace always.